Okay, in this video I'm going to give you a few lighting tips. Now at the moment I have in my office quite a large window in front of me, and it faces north, and it happens to be a sunny day. So the room is fairly bright, the light is even because the sun isn't coming directly into this room. I also have a small window on that side that just adds a little bump, and basically that's about it. Now, if you don't have an office or a room to use that has lights, you can get a small LED light. Now this is a battery operated light, which is great. So you can set up your studio virtually anywhere. If you work in a small office, a cramped space, this might actually help you. Now, one thing you need to know is that this camera is literally an arm's length away from me. These webcams tend to have wide angle views, so they are actually very good for working in a small space. So I'm going to turn this light on now, and this could go bad. This could go very badly. But just to let you know that when you add a light, your video quality will get better. Underexposed video does not look good. So if you are shooting at night, you probably want to get a light. Now, I wouldn't suggest using a desk lamp. As tempting as it is, it's better to get a proper photo video grade light than to use a desk lamp. This is an LED light. It has, I'll hold this close so hopefully you can see, it has probably a couple hundred little LEDs in there. The light tends to be quite harsh. So that's why they give you this little diffusion panel that spreads the light out a little bit. The light doesn't have to be super close to you. I mean, I'm just holding this so that we can see them both on the camera at the same time. But I will set this up a little further away, put it on a stand so that you can see the quality of the light a little bit better. I also bought this $20 little clamp. I got it on Amazon. I'll put a link to what it is below. And you can actually clamp this, I'll just hold it better there for you. You can clamp this to like a bookshelf or something else, or you could get one of those Gorilla Pod tripods, attach it to this. Oops, that's the joy of live video. This has a tripod, let's see if you can see that. Tripod, socket, and you can tilt it as well. So any kind of a clamp to attach your light, which is fairly close to you, is also very handy. Now, what do I mean by close? Well, a lighting source that's this small should probably be 2 feet away, 3 feet away, no further than 5 feet away, or like for my metric people, less than 2 meters away. The further your light is, the less it's going to light you. So you want it fairly close. This is not a big light. It's not going to change. It's not going to add a lot of volume of light. I have some huge LED lights. They cost a lot of money, but this is like under $200, probably even $99. I will look up some choices for you as well and put them in the links below the lessons. Okay, so now I have that small LED clamped to a pole, and I just want to show you the difference in quality of light. So we've got a mixture here of outside daylight from the windows and the little small LED. So if you're working in a really low light situation, you probably will need the extra little light. Another thing to keep in mind is that lights have different color to them, and that's why I don't recommend you mixing a daylight window light with a household lamp. What happens is there's a mismatch between the color temperature, and that basically just means the color is going to look differently. So if you buy a light for shooting with your video, make sure that it's what we call daylight balanced. So it's got a daylight white. You could also choose a warm white, but you definitely do not want to choose a light that's called tungsten or incandescent. That's what the old-fashioned bulbs are. They are incandescent lights. In my overhead lamp in this room, I have incandescent lights. So I wouldn't want the room lights to be on with the window light, because then the color can shift and not look the best. So to get better color and to not have to correct it in editing, because we don't even want to go there, match your light source to each other if you have more than one. Okay, so lastly, I want to show you with just this light. I've closed the curtains. I have the light a little bit off to the side. Now, because I'm sitting so close to this wall, I have a big shadow. If you don't want to have shadows, put yourself further away from your background, okay? That will help get rid of the shadows. And also you can see that I have less of the reflections on my glasses now because the light's on the side. I've also got it higher than me. So you can see that the shadow is below me back here. So that's because the light's high. So basically the light is like having a sun. Now I'm going to raise the light a little bit and see if it helps. I'm going to do this live, so bear with me for 1 sec. Okay, now I'm going to put the light in front of me. So now the light is high, and as long as I don't put my head up too high, it's actually not too bad. I don't get too many reflections. The shadow's more behind me. I can stick it right behind the camera. Let's see if I can get rid of that shadow. Oh, I've almost completely gotten rid of that shadow. The light, I'm just going to look at it. Oh, it's a little bit crooked. There we go. Now, you're going to have to judge for yourself which type of lighting you like. Now, I just also want to remind you that these videos are coming straight out of the camera. I'm not doing any editing to them. I'm not adjusting the brightness or the contrast or anything to do with lighting or color. Okay, so what you see is what you get. And I want you to understand that maybe it's not perfect, but it's good enough. Okay? As long as you can get your message across to your students, that's what's really important. And again, I stress that these are authentic. These are not slick marketing type videos. If you want to do things like that, maybe you have to hire a video production person to help you with those. But for creating these videos on your own, perhaps this method is good enough. All right, so just a quick recap. Lighting. I like to use LED lights because they're safe, they don't break, things like that. You can also use CFL bulbs. The key is if you are mixing window light with artificial light, you need to use the same color temperature. So if you're buying bulbs, they need to be daylight white. Tungsten are the old bulbs, and do not mix your room lights with your video lights that you're using. Unless they happen to be the same color temperature. If they're all daylight, you're good. Or if they're all tungsten, you're good. But you don't want to mix tungsten with daylight because you're going to get cool and warm colors together, and sometimes that makes your color of your video, which affects your skin tone, look a little funky. Alright, so I will definitely be making a video on changing the backgrounds and see how that affects your picture quality as well. So stay tuned for that. And one more thing. You may have noticed that with the window light facing north, the picture quality or the shadows were much softer. With a light, like an LED light, the shadows are crisper and sharper. However, that's not always a bad thing. If everything is too soft and underexposed and too flat, you may not get a good definition of your features and things like that. What tends to happen with window light is it makes things really soft. So that is the difference between using a light source, such as an LED, and a north-facing window light, which tends to be diffused. It will change the quality of your light. So you either have hard or soft light. I just want to do just a little close-up of the light here so you can see it. This is the diffusion panel, so that the light isn't quite as harsh. And I will turn it around so you can see the back. This light has a battery pack, and it has like a rechargeable battery which you just plug into the wall. It also has a direct DC connection as well if you run out of battery juice. But it's great for on location. And here's the switch, so it just turns on. And you can even just see from the wall here that it is quite a small light, but bright. And here's my little clamp. and it tips down so you can change the angle. So when I was shooting those videos, I had it like this and up high, so pointed down at me. All right, so that's my light. And just for comparison's sake, this is a video shot with the window light facing north. And just stay there. I'm going to change some. And this is lighting without the window light, so the curtains are closed, and I'm just using the LED, which is about 4 feet away from my head.